guys, Chris here in Whistler, British Columbia, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Lib-Tech T.Rice Pro HP. This is an all-round snowboard for intermediate to advanced riders, and it has a flex somewhere between about medium to medium stiff. This is the first board designed by TRice in collaboration with Mervin manufacturing that makes all Lib-Tech snowboards, and it's basically designed to be a daily driver, so a snowboard that you can use all over the mountain in all types of conditions. Being manufactured by Mervin, this snowboard does have a lot of new technology, and that can be seen in the side cut, in the profile, and a lot of the materials that they use to make this snowboard. Like a lot of Mervin snowboards, this has Magne-Traction, and that is basically a serrated edge on the snowboard. So instead of having two contact points like a traditional snowboard, one at the tip and one at the tail, this actually has 7 contact points, the 2 regular ones, and then 5 in between the feet that get more pronounced as you move towards the center of the board. This uses Mervin's C2 profile, and that has micro camber sections under the feet to give you more pop, and then a rocker section between the feet to help you initiate turns and make the board easier to pivot when you're snowboarding down the mountain. If you lay this board flat on the ground, the lowest point is actually right in the middle of the board, and it kind of looks like a seesaw in that it goes up towards the feet and then will touch down again on the tip and the tail. The HP in the name stands for horsepower, and that's basically Mervin's shorthand for saying that they use more environmentally friendly products, and it's also lighter and smoother when you're riding. So some of this stuff is that they use bio beans in the top sheet, and the core of the snowboard is actually a mix of aspen and palovnia wood, and what that's going to do is help you get some pop in different areas and help dampen when you're landing jumps or in those choppy sections. If we look at the rear of the board, you see that it doesn't actually have a full edge. The edge actually goes just past the contact points and ends here, and the top and tail of the board are edgeless. And then the other cool thing too is, like all Mervin snowboards, this actually is supposed to be signed off by the Mervin tech. Now this one was unsigned, so it had the sticker, didn't have a stamp or a signature on there, so I just wrote in TRice. As far as the base goes, this board has a sintered base, and that's going to be faster than an extruded base, but it does require a little bit more maintenance, so more regular waxing on it, and a little bit less durable than an extruded base. So you have to be a little bit more careful. Don't ride over rocks, don't do anything too silly, stay on the snow, and it should be nice and fast and help you carry through all those flat sections. And this is also a twin snowboard as well, so the idea of being twin is that from the middle of the board to the nose and from the middle to the tail, this board is symmetrical. So if you're riding regular or switch, it's going to have that same type of feel, turning, jumping, all around the mountain, and actually makes it a lot easier, in my opinion, to learn switch and to get into doing more switch tricks. As far as the ride goes, it's definitely a different feel snowboard to what I normally ride. Traditionally, I ride a lot of camber snowboards, that's what I grew up with. Recently though, I did buy the Jones Storm Chaser powder board, which is very much a rocker snowboard, and this one is kind of in between. It has a hybrid profile to it. Alright, first let's talk about the good. So my favorite place to take this board is definitely in the trees on a powder day. It initiates turns so quickly, and you can really throw it around on the mountain. You basically just have to point it in the direction that you want to go, and the response from the board turning there, I found it's much quicker than the camber boards that I've been riding. It's got excellent rebound, bouncing off the bumps in the trees, and kind of feels like no matter what you're pushing through, uneven terrain, quick turns, bouncing around down the mountain, basically just comes back wanting more and more, which is awesome. Having that twin profile as well means you get a nice long tail, and you get a lot of stability coming out of turns in the trees when you have uneven terrain on your tail. Definitely helps the balance going through there, and I found that I was falling a lot less. Yeah, this thing kills on the ice. It's really, really good. Whistler itself isn't a very icy mountain. It's got pretty soft snow conditions most of the time. However, on occasion and a few runs, it does get a little bit icy. And I found with this board, I was basically searching out the steepest, iciest parts on the mountain that I can find, and just taking this through faster and faster, trying to push that edge, push that grip. And it felt like the more that I was doing that, the more the board responded. I never had any edge fallout, slipping out on my edge at all. You have a much bigger margin of error with this board. You have a lot more control. You can be a little bit more sloppy because I feel like the board is going to help you out a lot in those circumstances. In the powder, this is really good. I took it down some nice steep powder runs. For a board of this type, it does have really good float, but when you get into that really deep powder, so over a foot, over 30 centimeters, then it doesn't float obviously as well as a powder board or something like that. And I found out having to put not a huge amount of effort, but definitely having to switch my body position a little bit towards the tail just to keep the nose afloat. The other good thing about this snowboard is they do make it in a wide. This one is the 161.5. Wide is the second largest they make, going all the way from a 150 narrow to a 164.5. So if you're like myself with size 11 feet, on old boards I typically get heel and toe drag, and that's definitely a bit of a bummer, but with this board I had absolutely none of that. I didn't really feel the Magne-Traction affecting my turns and carves too much. But when I was going at a very fast speed, so basically the fastest that I can go, that top 5% of speed, it did start to feel a little bit uneasy. And I'm not sure if that was the board itself or me still getting used to the board, but definitely something that I'm gonna have to look into a bit more in the future. Overall, I definitely recommend this snowboard. I've had a ton of fun on this, hitting drops, hitting powder, flying through the trees, groomers, getting back more into carving as well because my foot size, I found trouble doing that before. And if you're that intermediate advanced rider that is looking for a board with a lot of new technology, it's got great reputation, good manufacturing quality, definitely check out the T.Rice Pro HP.